Am I in range if I stand here, bro? Because I'll probably be like,
yes,
that bit. Okay, sick. Right guys, welcome to the Mastermind. Very excited to have you here today. Presentation I'm going to be talking through today, the first thing we're going to go through. So I've obviously got my first thing, and then my last one is going to be the last talk that we go through. But essentially this is a presentation I've actually never delivered before. I've never spoken on culture. And the reason I want to speak on culture today is because I realise it's actually everything to do with everything that we do as coaches and as business owners. A perfect example of culture was Connor last night, coming downstairs, putting a Man U shirt on. Sorry that you lost, mate. But coming downstairs, putting your Man U shirt on, supporting your team, getting that passionate about it, that worked up about it, walking around the villa, getting nervous about it, that's culture. So if you want to try and create a really strong culture within your coaching, you want to be thinking to yourself, like, how can I create that kind of emotional attachment to my coaching service and to my team in order to drive said result? So that's what I want to be going through today, because I know obviously we've spoken a lot about marketing and content and lead generation and things like this. So ultimately, guys, there's a war going on at the moment, and that war is for attention. I did that on purpose. You can't actually read it because, of course, you'll blend in. So basically, I want to help you to stand out in a crowded market. So this has got everything to do with branding. This has got everything to do with essentially you creating a bit more of a movement. So you guys will have heard a hell of a lot about vision, goals, lead gen, strategy, which are all things that we've covered in the past. But the definition of business is problems. So the thing that fixes those problems are actually having the right people in the right seats and having the right culture. So how do you fix the problems? Of course, it's people. So how do you find great people? Is culture. Now, this picture was taken at our London event, and this was back in December. Now, everyone in this photo at some point, I've either worked alongside, has been a staff member, we've done some kind of collaboration together. And what I recognized from the event is just like how much in the room we had so much energy, so much in common. And ultimately, I recognized afterwards, we've actually now created a WhatsApp chat between us guys. And we all shared a very common vision, and that's that we just really, really, really give a fuck about the industry. And it's so nice that we've started to create that culture and started to kind of create that as our message, so to speak. So everyone has the same strategy, nobody has the same culture, and nobody ever presents on this, ever. So what do the best brands in the world do? They inspire you. We were actually talking about this last night in the outside, talking about kind of how these different brands will kind of spark a particular emotion. So as an example, you feel proud if you wear LV or Gucci or whatever your favorite brands are. You feel sporty to wear a Dri-FIT, Ollie's feeling very sporty today wearing his Dri-FIT. So, you feel busy and important when you walk around with a Starbucks. Like I suddenly feel way more important because I have this in my hand. So ultimately, you want to be thinking about like, right, what kind of emotion and what kind of culture am I trying to create for my brand? So with that being said, if you don't have your culture set, then you're going to be spinning your wheels. So you must be able to get more excited by somebody else than yourself. So you want to be thinking, right, who is that person? So 165 days ago, just looking around actually, who came to the London event here? I know probably about half the room, eh? Okay, so for those of you that weren't there, I can actually spot some of you guys in there. I asked you guys a pretty simple question, and that was, I want you to consider why your business exists and why you exist. Because if you don't know why your business exists, then you're not gonna be able to grow it. So I would certainly get that down and kind of reflect on that later on today, like why is it that my business exists? Like why is it that I've created it in the first place? And I'm telling you now, like, there are two types of people in this world, right? You've got mission-driven people and you've got money-driven people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being one or the other. However, if you think of all of the richest people in the world, they're all mission-driven. Look at Elon Musk, he wants to fucking send people to Mars. Like, that's a pretty big fucking mission. So I really, really do believe that there's one thing that you take away from this entire talk is you must be able to clearly articulate, if you were stood in an elevator with someone, what's your mission? Right, motherfucker, my mission is this. Because that's what's gonna drive you and your team. And if you haven't got a large team right now, if one day you're gonna have a team, you should be able to jump on a call and they all know what the mission is. That's what your culture is gonna be. So, like I say, if that's not abundantly clear, then you have a cultural issue. Sweet. Now, if it's not abundantly clear, these are all of the issues that you'll go into. Now, I'm not gonna read all of these off because it's a fucking ridiculously long list, and it took me quite a long time to put this together. But if you don't have a clear culture, you're gonna have issues with Instagram stories, you're gonna have issues with batching videos, you're gonna have issues with planning your content, you're gonna have issues with sales and lead generation, you're gonna have issues with follow-ups because deep down there's a part of you can't really explain what it is, but you just don't know why the fuck you're doing what you're doing. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then why would you continue to do it? Great example of that. I've seen a lot of people recently, change their goal, done a complete 360. People going from high rocks to bodybuilding to high rocks, people getting into running, people completely changing their physique-based goal because they've lost their mission. They don't know why the fuck they're doing it. I think we all know at least one person who stepped on a bodybuilding stage, stepped off a bodybuilding stage and gone, don't know if I want to do this anymore. And they then like slag off the industry. It's the industry's fault, it's the industry's fault. And it's like, no motherfucker, you just didn't know what your mission was and you've completely detached and are unaligned from it, so you don't really understand why you're doing this. So basically, if you have no culture, you're not going to grow your business.